Hey kids, this is JJ again here with a quick tip for one of my subscribers. And dude, if you're not already a subscriber, you better be after this because it's hotter than hell in here. This is basically just going to be a quickie instructional on how to put a pigtail connector for your antenna on your VTX. Okay, this one's actually a bad one. So it's good for demo, and here's one that's already broken. I'll show you how to fix. So hopefully you can see this with the camera. Actually, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. So basically, there's a couple ways of doing this. If you're going to take one like this, and I'll put a link into the description where you can get this. This is basically what we in industry call a flying lead. And you can do RPA or SMA, whatever you want to do. Mine has the pin in the center, so it's male. And then it has one of these little tiny circuit board connectors. In this case, I'm just going to cut this guy and show you how to splice this in. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. How I usually do this, and I'm going to zoom out, make life a little bit simple. Take a cutter. Now, you want to make this as short as possible. So, for instance, if you are going to put it in one of these, okay, and let's assume your VTX is going to be right there, make this as short as possible. So we can kind of guesstimate, doesn't have to be perfect, but imagine this not being here, this connector, and then we're just gonna make this wire as long as it needs to be. The longer you make it, the more impedance you're gonna have and the less resolution you'll have on your video feed, so you do not want that. For instructional purposes, I'm not gonna give a shit on how long this is. So here's what you do. Buy one of these leads. It does not have to have this connector on the back. All you really care about is having this with a coax, okay? Here's how I do it. A couple ways. You can just cut it like this, then just use your thumbnail and pull off the outer sheeting. The reason I say that, see that? Is if you use a knife, it's extremely simple to cut through these and you lose that outer shielding. Here's the other caveat. Now what you want to do is you want to push the shielding back. Make sure you get, this is your ground basically, but they call it shielding. This is, push it back with your fingers like this, and just kind of roll it around with your thumb. Make sure you get all those leads back. You do not want your shield leads mixing in with your antenna. Now, I use the same thumbnail trick. I probably should have made this lead longer. There we go. That's all right. Let me do a little bit razor knife in here. Very, very little bit. And actually, man, it's being a bitch. Might be able to burn it off. Okay. So. And it's not too hard. This one's being a little bit more picky, but it's also about 8,000% humidity in here right now. That's good enough. Okay, so now we've got the antenna lead and the ground lead. Then what we're going to do, zoom in here, is we're going to tin these real quick. Helping hands help. Ha ha ha. And you want to put a little bit of solder on that shield and a little bit on the antenna lead. Not a lot, and don't dwell on it. Get in and get out very, very fast. So that was not in shot, sorry, but you get the idea. Okay, now, a couple ways to attack the VTX. The simple way, here's one trick. These connections right here that go onto that board are extremely fragile. If you put too much heat for too long, you will burn them right off the board and you'll never get it. One thing you can do is you can connect your antenna lead to right here and your ground to here, or the shield. This is ground, this is ground, this is ground, and this is ground. All of them are what they call common ground. This is your actual antenna lead is in the center, which goes out to this pin. You can just solder that flying lead we just did, the shield to here, and the inner wire or the antenna wire right to here and be done. But by doing that, you're adding more impedance or resistance into the circuit. I take these off. So one way to do that, take a wire cutter or a dike that you don't care about anymore, and I literally, might need a little thinner one here, and I literally cut these off. Cut the grounds. Bing. Now that is not pretty, obviously. Okay, but I'm going to solder that right to that. Hopefully you can see this in the video. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. Solder your hot and your ground. That is, whoa, that is literally it. Antenna lead going to the center, ground, and I did a really shitty job here. I should have soldered that better, but that's okay. And the ground shield is going to any of these grounds, either this one or this one. You do not have to connect them all. That is a myth, okay? And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's very basic. Try to keep this, and then what I usually do is put hot glue over this to give this a little bit of guts. I always conformal coat all my transmitters, but you know, whatever. But hot glue a little bit right here, and now you have a pigtail. Case in point, two biggest things you need to worry about. Do not cross wires. It's very hard to see in the camera, but my hot or my antenna lead is going to the center, ground is going to this outside, and there is insulation there. The trick to soldering these is get in and get out fast. I actually have my soldering iron on about 450, which is probably too hot. But just go real fast, boom, boom. Do not burn off this lead. Very simple to do. Make sure you hot glue it, and you're done. Now, if you have one that's already broken, same principle. If it's already broken, this one has some hot glue schmutz on it. It'll hot glue. You do not necessarily have to clean this off. You can burn it off, okay? And just clean your tip. Don't connect them. There you go. And again, ground is ground. Just do it very quickly. There, that's how you get hot glue off the old-fashioned way. Now do that same trick I showed you if you've got one that's broken. Now this one should be able to connect right to that center and right to the ground. And you're done. Center and ground. Hot glue it, done. This VTX is ready to use again. Now this one's got bigger problems. I lost the LED, but it'll still work even without that LED being on there. Will I mess with it? Probably not. So anyway, I hope this helps. Just be careful with your soldering. Make sure you hot glue it to give it a little bit of ass. And try to keep this lead as short as you can, because that just takes away decibels and adds impedance into the circuit. If it needs to be long, so be it, but you will lose a little bit of resolution. So I hope this helps some folks out there, and until then, keep your shiny side up. Take care.